Welcome back. New Zealand's dismal semi-final record at the Cricket World Cup has continued with a crushing defeat to Sri Lanka this morning. 5 times the Black Caps have made the semis and 5 times they've lost. Today's defeat prompting Fleming to quit as one-day captain, saying fresh ideas and enthusiasm is needed.
Deflated, defeated. The Black Caps choking, with the world at their fingertips. As usual, much hinged on Shane Bond, but he hadn't played for 10 days.
This is the second boundary in the over and a poor start for Bond.
9 from his first over meant James Franklin had to front.
Bowled him! Soft.
He had the match even Stevens at one stage, but stylish opener Upul Taranga was still there. He stroked 73 off 74 before Daniel Vittori struck.
Bowler around his legs.
But no inroads followed for the Black Caps. Instead, it sparked Sri Lankan skipper Mahela Jayawardene into life.
Straight down the ground for 6, a magnificent stroke. Brilliant shot. Quite brilliant.
Jayawardene's 9th one-day century, more remarkable because just 17 came from his first 47 balls. He ended unbeaten on 115 from 109. The platform for Sri Lanka's total of 289 for 5. The chase was always going to be difficult.
Right through him, big shout, and here comes a slow left hand.
Fleming wasn't the only one to struggle with Lasith Malinga. At one stage, Ross Taylor was beaten 5 deliveries in a row before finally getting bat on ball.
Taylor loved every bit of that.
But his patience had been tested.
It's close. That's real close, yeah.
Scott Styris and Peter Fulton gave some hope. 73 at a run of ball had the Black Caps back in it. But just when Styris needed to kick on,
And there's one.
Styris gone for 37. Then 4 wickets fell in the space of 12 balls for just 2 runs.
Has he caught it? He has. Oh, it's all going wrong for New Zealand.
Only 59 from the last pair, James Franklin and Jeetan Patel, provided a hint of respectability. All out for 208, 81 runs short. The loss confirming its first casualty. Glenn Lama, One News.
Last game as captain. I still want to captain the test side. I think if I'm available to captain the test side and I want to play, I'm only just turned 34, I think I've still got some good batting years ahead of me. Obviously dream the dream that I'll be lifting the cup and then saying thanks very much, but it's not to be. But we've got to improve. We've got to make sure that the semi-finals is only the line in the sand. We've got to produce players with the calibre to take us to a World Cup final and win it. And we'd hope that we're going to have a couple of great days and get there this time. We're just going to have to wait.
We built up for this final. This was a very big hurdle for us to jump, and getting there was tough, but we're there now. And we've been preparing for that day for quite some time now, so we'll definitely be ready for that.
Do you have a preference of which team to beat?
No, I mean, if you're to win a World Cup, you have to be the best, and obviously it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. Whoever comes through, quite happy to play there.
South Africa and Australia meet in the other semi overnight to decide who will meet Sri Lanka in the final. Australia, of course, gunning for its 3rd successive World Cup, and they'll again be looking to the tournament's top run scorer to lead the way.
Same routine, different location. Matthew Hayden rehearses in St Lucia, a run machine right across the Caribbean. He's been the tournament's top scorer so far, totalling 580. A record 4th World Cup century could clinch Australia a berth in the final.
I think just today is all about just trying to, like you say, just get a little bit of a feel for the ground. It's certainly one of the best surfaces that we've seen throughout the tournament.
During Australia's undefeated run this tournament, Hayden hit 100 against South Africa from just 66 balls, a World Cup record. This rivalry carries plenty of Cup history. The famous 1999 semi-final finished in a tie. Australia advancing to the final on superior run rate.
I hope it doesn't happen, but, well, hope it does happen.
Smith has a slow-mending knee injury, but it won't keep him out of a semi-final.
It hasn't healed as quickly as what I was hoping, but I'm still pretty confident of getting onto the field.
While the Australians are well aware all their hard work could be undone with just one sudden death semi-final, for their supporters, it's been anything but hard yakka. There'll be plenty of mudslinging before and during the match, but sudden death means one country will slide out of contention.
Team New Zealand has fended off another potential upset in the Louis Vuitton Cup. But Kiwi satisfaction would have been short-lived as a new semi-final contender emerged and the biggest surprise of the regatta so far.
Team New Zealand had already disposed of the French Arriva challenge as expected, but heading into the start box against Desafio Espanyol, they faced an entirely different proposition. The fired-up Spanish were coming off a victory against Mascaroni Latino, who tipped over the Kiwis in their first race. This time, though, tactician Terry Hutchinson had a plan. Dean Barker was told he had to take the right, and he did.
Advantage to Spain. New Zealand have the power of the right.
As is so often the case, the power was in the right, and Team New Zealand repulsed every Spanish attack before covering carefully for a 1-minute 12-second win.
We do have a plan A and a plan B, but we're very clear we wanted that plan A, and Dean got it.
We learned the hard way on the first day. Some of the other teams learned today that everybody's really good, and so you're going to have to sail good races to win.
The big upset of the day saw Luna Rossa fall victim to the South Africans, who showed their form against BMW Oracle Racing was no fluke. This time, though, the Shosholoza crew held their nerve and their lead over the top-of-the-table team to pull off an historic win. One theory now is that Team New Zealand's first-up loss to the Latin Rascals may have been a beneficial wake-up call. The Kiwis are on their game now, and they need to be. Next up, the giant-killing Shosholoza. Martitaska, One News, Valencia.
Chiefs and All Blacks lock Keith Robinson will line up against the Waratahs on Friday night, his 5th start in a row in the Super 14. After a couple of years of inconsistent appearances, he's back on a roll. But is Robinson's body ready for the huge test season ahead?
Pushing himself hard in his sanctuary away from rugby. 2 years ago, facing life out of the game, Keith Robinson went into business, starting up his own gym at the foot of Mount Te Aroha.
There were days, when I honestly thought, I told friends and family that I was going to be chucking it in, and then you'd wake up in the morning and you'd come in here and have a workout and you feel pretty good, and shit, what was I thinking? And then, so it was ups and downs, all right.
In 2005, he tried everything to get his body right. Surgery, acupuncture, even spiritual healing. The All Blacks hard man turning to Pilates.
Back before I was injured, you look at Pilates and think, oh Christ, it's not my, what's that going to do? But I think you only realise how important it is after you've had an injury like I had, and realise that the muscles in the middle of the body actually play a huge role. They're probably the most important muscles in your body.
On Friday night, he'll play his 5th game in a row, his heaviest workload in the past couple of years.
I think we found in the New Zealand Cup last year that it's not so much the games that were taking the toll, it was the training early in the week and then playing the games continuously sort of took a toll on me. So we sort of, I just train later in the week now, get a bit of shit for that from the boys.
Rob is a great footballer and he does his job. He doesn't do a lot extra, but he does his job very, very well.
Well enough to be a key World Cup figure. His gym's going great guns, but work with the Chiefs and All Blacks beckons first. Andrew Saville, One News.
Wayne Rooney stole the show as Manchester United narrowly won the first leg of their Champions League semi-final against Milan. In a thrilling match, the Brazilian Kaká overturned an early Ronaldo goal with 2 superb solo efforts.
Into the area, what a wonderful goal that was. Better movement here from United. Rooney, Wayne Rooney.
But United pulled their way back thanks to Rooney.
To touch it in because Rooney has equalised. And Giggs feeds Rooney.
The Rooney coming in stoppage time.
Look at how much space there is there.
Taking a 3-2 lead to the second leg next Thursday.
It's a really well-worked goal.
The NRL is once again dealing with a player with a drink problem. The Titans' Chris Walker has kept his job and the club has rallied around the troubled State of Origin star as he tries to save his career.
Chris Walker's career remains alive, but it comes with conditions. He's to undergo constant counselling and needs to work with a mentor. Walker will play reserve grade for 8 weeks and's been fined 25% of his 1-year contract.
We acknowledge we do have a duty of care to the player, and it's our club's intention to assist Chris in the best possible manner around receiving the best possible psychological care.
Meanwhile, at Cronulla, coach Ricky Stewart and Brett Camorley have had a stormy past, but now they're shiny, happy people.
The difference this year is, I'm excited every day to come here. It's like, what am I going to learn today? What's Ricky going to, coach us or teach us today?
Things weren't so friendly after that pass in Origin 1, 2005. Stewart was coach and Camorley lost his spot. Then Stewart got the job at the Sharks.
I was on holidays and the speculation when he came that I wasn't wanted sort of grew every day.
It proved wrong and the halfback stayed. Now Stewart wants to see him back in Origin.
His attitude and his leadership off the footy field has been, I think, replicated on the field the way he's playing.
Their task now, though, to steer the Sharks. Jenny May Coffin, One News.
The NRL's traditional Anzac Day match is between cellar dwellers Roosters and Dragons. Both sides are coming off a bye and it showed early with plenty of errors, but the Roosters came good with 2 quick tries.
Nasta this time will put it a long way in the air. Oh, put a tape on his back, fellas. He must be wearing his undies on the outside.
The Roosters on target for their 1,000th win.
Formerly a winger, getting...
It's always been a challenge for top amateur golfers to make the leap to the pros. Now a 4th tournament has been added to the Golf Tour of New Zealand to assist Kiwis chasing their dream.
James Gill is one of New Zealand's top amateurs looking to turn pro. He knows it's a big gap to bridge.
Some of the amateur events you play average and still finish top 5, top 10. As opposed to in these, you have to play a lot better to finish higher up on the leaderboard.
Now, Greg Turner's Golf Tour of New Zealand has added another stepping stone, a 4th tournament to be played at Titirangi for young pros and amateurs.
If you're playing with pros, it's always going to help you make the transition from amateur to pro a lot easier.
Greg Turner and his colleagues are kind of bridging that gap here, giving these guys the opportunity, these young amateurs, our top amateurs, to play in, if you like, professional tournaments. It's a fantastic idea.
Budding pro Matt Holton agrees.
It is very awesome because, like I said, you get to play against your mates and all the top pros, and the costs are pretty low as well.
The first of the series starts in Tauranga tomorrow. Adam Hollingworth, One News.
And finally tonight, with footy season starting for the kids this weekend, a reminder to keep an extra special eye on the little nippers at the games. At a university Gridiron game, a player latching onto a touchdown pass collected a 4-year-old boy as well as the ball. Young Caden Thomas sustained a large gash to his forehead. That required 30 stitches. He later said the collision kind of hurt. And you see, he'll be a tough cookie after this, though.
Yeah, he's ready.
Poor little guy. That hurt. Well, Mark's along with close-up in just a few minutes from the country's largest war cemetery.
Tonight we come to you from Waikamete Cemetery with stories from around the globe. A Pacific pilgrimage to unravel the mystery of 2 missing airmen, the team of Turks who tend the Gallipoli graves of our fallen Anzacs. And we remember our 4-legged friends who went to war and didn't come home. That's in just a few minutes.
What are they doing down here?
The hardest thing...
Family can't see this.
...is to tell the loved ones.
Want me to handle this one, boss? No, I got it. I got some bad news.
Every victim...
What happened that night?
...has a family.
It's a straight-A student from the burbs doing down the hood.
Tonight, TV1.
He took to battle like a caged animal.
Every family has its secrets.
DNA was James's father. Remember how he got that black eye? My dad would never hurt my brother.
Cold Case, tonight, 8:30 TV1.